is starting. Does anyone know what session this is? Is this dungeon session 18, 19?
20.
20? Really?
I think 19 was last week. I'm
Holy
pretty sure.
shit. Okay, I can always fix it later. We never say it anyway, so no big deal. Yeah, okay. Here goes then. Test 1, 2. Scoopy doopy doo. Okay, it's ready. Let's do it. Begins in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to There Will Be Dungeons at therewillbedungeons.com with Scott, Kristen, Bo, Kyle, and John. And we're back, everybody. Welcome back. I'm going to start things with a quick email before we get started. Comes to us from Thomas Chambers, who sent us a poem of sorts sung to the tune of the Brady Bunch theme. Are you ready?
Are you going to sing it, Scott?
Yeah, well, yes. Okay.
Please.
Here's how it goes. Here's a story of a lizard man thing named Varel who liked to hunt alone. It's the story of the tiefling girl Hope who wants to travel in time. And then there's Stanley, who may or may not have a mustache. Also, there's Nash. He doesn't have a thing. I think they mean penis. Till the one day that these adventurers met. He's got this all wrong in terms of the song and where it goes. And they knew it was much more than a hunch. So somehow this band must form a party, and that's the way they all became the get it off, kill it with fire, bok, get off him, down. Anyway, I wanted to say I really enjoy the show and keep watching. Thanks, Thomas from Missouri. There you go.
That's nice.
It's the worst email I've ever read, but also kind of awesome.
Great.
Well done, Thomas. Thank you for that. If you'd like to send your own emails in, you can do it by going to the website, therewillbedungeons.com, and just click right up on top where it says contact, and we'll answer the call. All right, let's dive right in today. I now pass it to Bo. He's got a little something before the recap.
Got a bit of errata from last week.
All right.
We had a few play mistakes, and the more astute of you were not shy to point it out. Please keep the feedback coming. I do appreciate it. Thunderwave last week, Scott, we casted a 300% range. It's a 15-foot square centered on you, not 15 feet out from you. It's a 3x3 square, not a 6x6 or whatever we did. So just going forward, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It was overtuned last week.
Yeah.
The other thing was last week, you guys wanted to take a long rest before that bad event happened that we'll get to shortly. And I had said you'd only been up for 3 or 4 hours. In fact, I listened back and you had walked the entire daylight day through the desert to reach the Black Mine. So it's more like you've been up 12 to 14 hours, and rest is eligible at this point.
Oh.
The International Physics Society reached out to me from several of its members to point out that objects in freefall fall at the same rate. And last week, Varel and John were on the elevator, and I decided to say it was falling faster than them. And apparently this is not physically possible. Now, it is a magical world, but it's still Earth, and I appreciate pointing it out, and I'll keep that in mind for the future.
Nice.
My apologies to physicists everywhere.
I like this. This is really good. This is good. Corrections from the week. Yeah.
Yeah, the next one is John's. I also did damage to John's rapier last week. Well, I had Varel's flame aura do it. But we actually discovered that we were looking at how much AC and hit points it should have, but we actually discovered that Varel's aura doesn't harm, it harms creatures only. It includes friendly creatures, but it's creatures only. And the sword being an object does not count. So rules is written, the sword is safe while floating around Varel in his fire, happy rage. That's it. That's all the corrections I had. But if we do something, we're all learning the game, so I'm always open for feedback. If I made a call and I need to be corrected for a going forward reference, I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now we
I'm
move on
renaming
to
my ability.
Yeah, exactly. Bo, give us a recap. What happened last time?
Previously on There Will Be Dungeons. The heroes, hot on the trail of Thailander, decided to jump down a giant shaft of 999 floors length in the Black Mine. They landed on an elevator looking for some miners who apparently had overthrown the dwarven slavers below in the mine, only to find that the place was overrun with the undead. And seconds later, the undead attacked them after John had yelled up with his megaphone, "Hey, send the elevator up!" And they fought for what seemed like an hour on the elevator going up. Once they reached near the top, they called to Scrolly Oilbeard and told him, "Hey, bring the elevator up." And Scrolly said, "There's undead down there, no thanks," and sent the elevator careening back down. While the party was defending themselves from the undead, Nash decided to cast Thunderwave, which we've already established was cast way high of a power level, knocking a chain loose and sending the elevator into freefall. The party fell, and zombies all around them, and they thought all hope was lost, but John, at the last moment, cast Featherfall, and they sunk into a pool of blood from all the zombies falling. There were hundreds. Once they swam out, they took some time to get themselves together before journeying on, but their journey was quite short as they reached a dead end. After some investigation, Hope suspected a secret entrance was available in the room and found herself a secret lever in the wall. Thinking she had solved the puzzle, she went to pull the lever, only to spring a rock trap. Fortunately for her, she's quick on her feet and ran out of the room before the rocks could get her, but the rest of her party, including Tickles the dog who had joined them for the zombie elevator fight, were crushed by a massive amount of rock and boulder that fell from the ceiling. We now continue with our adventures on There Will Be Dungeons.
Oh my, sorry, there's this then. Oh, well done, everybody. All right, Bo.
All right, so you are Hope.
I am? Oh.
No, I'm addressing Hope.
Trading characters today.
Got it. Okay.
So Hope, you are you've turned around after the hearing and seeing the rocks fall to find Varel, Nash, and Stanley and Tickles underneath a pile of rock. You see their limbs. It wasn't a massive amount of rock, but there were rocks there. They're all covered in it, and they look like they're barely conscious. You see Varel's head and blood running from his teeth from the pile of rocks in the center of this room. There is still clearance to move around the sides of the room. It hasn't filled up the room completely, but there are a pile of rocks, about 3 square feet surface area where the rocks are covering. Again, the walls are cavernous, dark, and damp. One might say moist. I know that Scott likes that word.
Love the word moist. It's the best.
And the air is thick and heavy, but it's cool down here.
All right, I'll find Varel and I'll start working to get the rocks off of him since he's got the strength of the group.
Okay. All right. So you notice there's one big rock on his chest. Mostly, there's a lot of little stones, but there's one big one pinning him in. If you'd like to move it, let's make a strength check, please.
It's a 1. Starting to day off strong, everybody.
No, I will not be defeated by rocks this day. I will do it myself.
So Varel, this rock has pinned you in, and it hurts you further, and you suffer 2 points of damage.
That sounds like a DM who doesn't want you lifting your own rock.
The rock shifts up, and it's now uncomfortably resting on your neck and your chest. Where before it was just on your chest.
I require aid.
I thought you didn't want any aid, Varel.
I'm covering the rocks in my throat.
I gotta push it again with a 9.
I'll help.
Okay, the rock doesn't budge from your pushing, Hope. You're gonna help make your roll there, Varel?
I got 10.
Okay. You managed to with great difficulty, sort of shift the rock all across your neck, just pinning you in, and it hurts, and it takes a solid 5 minutes. And eventually you get the rock to roll down the side, freeing your upper body and head and arms. You hear moaning from below, and it's Nash and Stanley.
Getting it on.
They can't help themselves. Oh. They're just like, ugh.
All right, I'll go to the nearest one and start unloading the rocks. What rocks I can.
No. Perhaps I should. I should. There was under the rocks, I had an experience, and you're very strong of spirit, but perhaps your pushing adds more weight.
But what if I move the rocks? I know I can move, Varel.
Oh, well, that's fine. I'll take the big ones, though.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, your legs are still pinned into the rocks. Varel.
Oh, so I'm just sitting up?
Yeah.
Oh, I will be with you shortly.
And you hear like a. So Stanley, there's something like dirty and doesn't feel like rock, like it's fleshy but it's hard, covering your mouth.
Ew.
It's like and you're trying to speak, but every time you try to speak, it's just you've got like you're muzzled.
If there's something fleshy over my mouth, I am not opening the mouth.
Okay, you're not opening your mouth.
Yeah, no. Stanley's not letting that get anywhere near.
Where am I in this
It's
scenario?
coarse. It's coarse and it's like scratching you.
Okay. It doesn't have a bunch
Can I
of
move
bumps.
my arms at all? Can I try to pull
No,
anything
your
off?
arms are pinned under rock, and in fact, you are in an excruciating amount of pain at the moment. You're pretty certain something's broken.
Maybe it's your own flesh.
All right, Varel, you're gonna try and get out of the remaining rock.
Yes, I will clear my feet, so I may
Okay.
stand. 23.
All right, perfect. You kick off a bunch of rocks, and in the process of doing it, you kick Stanley's head. Apparently, your foot was pressed up against his face. And then you uncover Stanley's head and just in the pile of rocks there.
Oh, phew.
You can now speak freely, Stanley.
Help!
Stanley,
Stanley!
are you okay?
Hold on, Stanley.
I'm sorry.
I'm beginning to think that was not the lever we should have pulled.
The door opened, but it was Tylander's lever, and we need to remember well that he is a tricksy man with cheap tricks.
You look at the door and you see that it's not open.
Then why did we pull the lever?
It's the only lever that I found. No one else found a lever in the wall.
I stand.
I'm throwing
You'd be
rocks
surprised.
now.
Yes,
I'm really
that's
upset with
upsetting.
myself.
All right, roll some strength rolls. However many you want.
Wow, all of us? I'm in the thing
No,
still.
no, Varel and Hope, the ones that are mobile.
7.
Okay.
15.
All right. So, so you still throw some rocks around angrily, and they spread around the room, easing your ability to free Stanley and Nash and Tickles from where they are.
Is Tickles alive?
You look around and you see Tickles' limbs, but they're not moving. Under some rocks.
We should find Nash first.
I agree. 8 strength check. Get a little.
Okay. Yeah. So Nash has a couple of rocks. He's lying face down. He's got a couple of rocks on his back, and he's kind of looks like he's flailing with his little arms hanging out.
Am I out of the rocks now?
You're not out of the rocks.
Well, why'd they... Hey, get back
didn't
here and
leave you,
finish
Stanley.
one job at a time.
I thought Varel went off to go get Nash.
I got excited. Let us finish Stanley first. Nash, stay well. We will be with you soon. 9.
Okay. So with great effort, you push a really big boulder, sort of pinning him down off to the side of him, and the rock rolls to the wall. And Nash, you're now free. You can slide out from the rest of the rocks.
Okay.
22 for Stanley.
Okay. Hope puts her back into this one and just pushes the massive amount of rocks to the side, away from the top of you, Stanley. You look free to go, but as you go to move, the side of your right side pinches you really hard, and you're in an excruciating amount of pain in your chest.
Do I feel like something's broken?
Yeah, it's the familiar feeling of broken bones.
Like ribs?
Mm-hmm.
Familiar feeling.
Yeah, Stanley's had a rough life.
Wouldn't be the first time you've broken a rib, I'd imagine.
I'll go uncover Tickles with a 10.
Okay. So you push the boulders aside that are on top of him towards the side of the wall. Tickles doesn't appear to move. The helmet is dented in, and it looks like perhaps dented in a little too far.
I'll give him a poke with my toe. Dog man, Dogman!
You get no response.
He's dead.
I think Dogman's dead, says Stanley. Who, by the way, does not have tiny little arms. I don't know where you got that from, DM. What's this flailing with my little arms comment?
Sorry, your arm, your
Your giant, manly arm.
My
I just meant that,
perfectly
You're-
normal, proportional arms that Nash has.
Covered in cancer.
my apologies.
Nash requires assistance, everyone. Please come to Nash. Help him.
My apologies. They're regular arms, of course.
Okay. Like a freaking...
I just mean, remember, I was describing it to Varel. Everything's relative
Tyrannosaurus.
to Varel. This
Fine.
is it's a relative thing. Yeah.
I'm touched. I got DM eyes.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go help Nash with his little arms, in my view. 20. Nash, how are your little arms?
They're not that little. Help me up. Am I
20 on
buried?
moving the rock.
Am I still
Yeah,
buried?
the rocks are moved. You're free to go.
I can get up, and I'm not hurting like Stanley? I don't have
No,
like... Okay.
you're fine.
All right.
You're surprisingly fine.
Okay.
You're the least injured out of everyone, but somehow you had the most rocks on you.
And I say to Varel, I'm surprisingly fine. We gotta help Stanley.
I
Well,
have crawled and leaned my way against a rock in my own little corner, and I'm feeling bad for myself.
I'll walk over to you, Stanley, and bend down. And is there anything I can help with, Stanley?
No, I think my ribs are broken, and it's very unpleasant, and I don't think my magic's capable of fixing that. So I'm just going to be here and be very uncomfortable.
I will spit on the rocks and then look up at the top of the ceiling to see if there was a mechanism of some kind that released these boulders.
Yeah. So you take you investigating survival.
Yeah, I'll do. Ooh, if I can do survival, that works.
Sure, it's a trap.
Okay. 5.
Yeah, you might bring your wild approach to the trap. You take a look at what's up there. You do definitely see a mechanism that was holding some rocks in place, and the ceiling there's like a dome in the top where the rocks were placed up there. You also see a mechanism running from the side where you suspect the door and the lever you found running towards the opposite side of the room. There's like a spring and this sort of metal bar sort of leading to the direct opposite side. But then disappearing into the rock.
Is it rusted or have an ancient look to it?
It does look old, but not ancient. It looks like it may have been there for, decades, perhaps. It's brown metal, but nothing suggesting that like some of the really old things you found in, say, Mogfarade.
Okay, but the skeletons kind of match up with the ceiling device and...
Yeah,
age.
in terms of time and age, they match up.
Interesting. Oh,
Yes?
the mechanism on the ceiling points towards the wall in a different area. Also, it seems there is no colossal beast with fists of stone. I am sorry, my friends, I have failed you.
I certainly feel like I got hit by fists of stone.
There we go. The common ground. And we all failed to see anything, Varel. Don't take it too hard, okay?
I will show Thailander for this evil doing, this foul trickery.
I slowly lift my head, looking at Stanley with my one good eye and say, why don't you just prestidigitate yourself?
Haha, Nash. That's incredibly funny.
Well, you're always whipping it out when something else looks a little dirty or you don't want to look at somebody's crotch, but then you get yourself hurt, and what good are you? I got no magic for
if
you.
anybody would get sensitive about somebody whipping it out, I guess it would be you, Nash.
Oh, I can't believe you went there.
Now, let's calm down, all right? Nash Stanley's injured. He's got broken bones. And it's gonna be okay. And you told us, Nash, about you missing Pekka. So you need to take responsibility for the fact that we all know this now.
I make a sound that you would probably spell harumph, and I turn the other way. I just look it down and let the dirt. I'm done. I'm not talking
Friends, we
anymore.
are weary from our travels and our events on the Vader. Perhaps this might be a good place to set up camp.
I certainly wouldn't argue with getting a little rest.
Perhaps we should brace you, Stanley? I'm unfamiliar with your physicology. Your insides are busted.
Well, if we're going to rest, I'm going to go ahead and use a little healing magic on myself, and we'll let the evening take care of as much of it as it can. And I'll go ahead and cast Cure Wounds on myself.
You do feel some pain relief from the spell, but you still feel that something is amiss, from swelling, your body reacting to the damage inside.
Would you like to be braced?
I just need to sit here for a little bit, buddy. I'm fine, thank you.
Perhaps cauterized?
Nope, I definitely don't need to be cauterized, but it is impressive that you are able to offer that. Was that something you learned with your people? I remember you said something about fire, but I didn't know you could burst into flames, Vorel.
Yes, that was a power learned from Fushi, the dragon, in my time in the desert.
Well, it's certainly impressive. Far more impressive than Nash's ability to burst into fire, which only ever hurts Nash.
I don't say anything. I just look at my head. I just shake my head at the ground. I mean, I could offer you a firebolt, but I think it would kill you in your current delicate condition, I say with much disdain and vigor.
I'll sit down on one of the rocks. Now, I am extremely impressed with everybody's performance on the Vader. Hope dispatched many of the foul dead, and so did Nash and Stanley. While I don't remember much from my blinded rage, there was a soothing look in your eyes that did save my life. Twice.
What are you talking about?
At some point in the Vader, you shined a different light, and I felt renewed.
I'm sorry, Vorel. I don't know what you mean.
Neither do I. You were the one who did it.
Okay.
Vorel's not alone. I felt it too. Like I was healthier. Like I had gotten extra hit points or something.
I didn't use any healing magic on the elevator that I recall. I just remember fighting zombies. Although I'll admit it's a little hazy, some parts of the battle.
As you describe this, a memory of clutching one of the undead corpse's peckers comes to mind.
I remember throwing a zombie over the elevator. I remember
the feeling,
that.
There's like a phantom pain in your hand from where you felt it.
But I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm glad I was able to help, I suppose.
Is Stanley possessed?
I wouldn't say that. I'd say we all probably have some latent powers within us. I mean, everyone here has shown something that we haven't expected.
Yes, that's true. Speaking of expecting, I didn't get pushed. Nash, you brilliant bastard. How did you do it?
What do you mean? How did I not push you off?
I saw the light, the thunder around you, and felt nothing. It was glorious.
Well, I have a way of protecting people now. And because you were in the thick of it there, I figured you were one worth protecting. As much as I'm slow to admit it, we need all four of us. And so when there's a chance to keep one of you safe from my otherwise chaotic power, I do it. I choose to protect you when I can.
I feel it. Though each of us in turn has grown our friendship, now together we are a core group. This fills me with joy.
Well, I will admit, Nash, your reckless ways of the past certainly seem to have taken a turn, and we owe you a great deal.
Good, Stanley, good.
It's,
and you, Nash.
What?
Let us become a tribe.
I have to say
How
something
do you-
nice now. Is that the deal? We're saying
Family, rather, not always nice to each other, but respect and admiration.
Well, let me think about it.
This does not come naturally to your kind, I see.
It's not that. It's just we've been through a lot, and look, the last thing I want is Stanley to be hurt to the point of disrepair. We need him, and we need each other. Our misunderstandings, misgivings, and I guess our disagreements may continue, but all I can promise is I'll do my best not to create any problems for us. Gone are the days where I'm just letting loose magic and not caring who's in my way. I would prefer to keep the team together.
It's important that you use it in a reasonable manner. And I'm going to wave my hands as if I'm casting Cure Wounds on myself again. But I'm going to prestidigitate a small glowing penis on Nash's forehead. Right?
What?
Just up where you
What
color
can't
is it
see
glowing?
it.
Why is everyone
What color is it glowing?
Why is everyone staring at me? What?
A bright, a soft blue.
I'm gonna start studying the machinery above to see if I can make heads or tails of the room.
Nash, you become a limp unicorn.
I don't know what anyone's talking about. I reach up and I touch it, and for a
You don't
minute,
you don't feel anything.
did I not feel
that's
anything?
right.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
just like, what? Who? What did you do? What did you do?
Nash, look, I know it's awkward. You're trying to distract. I'm just telling you, I respect your careful, thoughtful use of magic, and that you're not putting others at risk with it.
Well said, Stanley. Well said.
I look at Stanley for a long time, a look of total distrust on my face. I pick up a pebble and I throw it and hit him in the head.
Make an attack roll.
Can I do that? I totally want to do that. Oh,
You
shoot.
can.
Hold on. I mean, I'm not trying to hurt him. I just want to see if it'll hit.
Yeah, pebbles don't do damage.
Okay, good. Here you go. 5.
No, you miss them.
Damn it. Worth it.
Don't worry, Nash. You were also bad at magic once. You got better.
I look down
Perhaps
again.
a fire for us to rest around.
I'll set it, but what are you going to let on fire down here? All we got is like old zombie clothes and stuff.
I can pull out my pack. I think I've got camping supplies.
Also, if I may, I grow hungry, and my rations were bathed in the blood of the dead.
Well, not to be insensitive, Vorel, but is that a problem? You have eaten some pretty gnarly rations in the past.
That is true, though having drunk of their blood. They are rather disgusting creatures. In fact, while not perhaps knowing your anatomy well, how long were these men dead for?
I don't rightly know. I would imagine that when this was an initial rebellion, they must have been alive to some degree. Otherwise, maybe those dwarves would have said there's zombies down there and not upset slaves. But we can always try this. Take out one of the rations.
Very well, and I'll pull it from my bandolier line. Lay one of my 3 rations in front of you.
And prestidigitate the blood on the rations.
Oh,
I don't know if it works. We'll try it.
Yeah, bing! It's now freshened up. No more blood on it. No more dirt
thank
on
you,
it either.
Stanley. No, Russ, that is delightful, and I'll drop it in my mouth.
Anybody else need a food cleaning service?
Yeah, pretty much everyone's equipment and rations would have been affected by dousing yourself in a lake of blood. So, Yes, whatever's in your inventory has blood caked on it, crusted on it, dried blood.
Well, I'm very anxious to rest, but I think this needs addressing first. So we begin the ceremony.
Yeah.
We begin to prestidigitate everything.
Okay.
I've got nothing for a fire. Just to let everyone. I can light a fire, but I don't have wood.
I have kindling, but nothing to actually keep it burning.
You don't have to have a fire to have a camp. Just throwing that out there.
Well, the bottom of it, I'm
Well-
guessing it's cold in there, yeah? Probably really...
It is cool, but it's a refreshing feeling given your time in the desert. No one's complaining.
Okay.
You could be the fire, Varel. Correct?
Oh, those are the fires of rage, and I would rather
Oh.
not do that in a small area.
That's fair.
Someday, perhaps. Like at level 6.
What if I kicked you really hard?
Well, that would make me angry, yes, but then the rage would subside as I grabbed your face and poked out your eyeballs and realized it was my friend Nash.
Oh,
And then I'd probably stop.
that's a good point.
I think you should do it now.
I was just curious. I would never kick... I'd never kick you. Will it enrage you if I kick Stanley in the face?
What? Well, Stanley's already in pain. I see no reason to give him more.
Oh, I do, but that's fine.
Now, my brain works hard on this piece. Why would they say the slaves were rebelling and then refuse to bring up the lift when we called?
I think they're a bunch of cowards. They don't want to fight anything. They think that they can starve out the slave rebellion, but with a bunch of undead zombies, they would have eventually just pulled up zombies anyway.
Perhaps they knew of the zombies and led us into a trap.
It could be. I think we all want to kill them either way.
Unless the slaves normally act like this, and it was unsurprising to see them run at them for flesh bits and start holding and biting.
Well, that could be too. I guess we've never seen a normal day in the mine.
I would not like this mine, if that was the case.
I have a feeling they knew what they were sending us into. Whether they wanted us to die or see if we took care of it first, I don't know. But one way or the other, they're not being honest with us.
Well, I hate to ask a very unpopular question, but does anybody have any idea how we're going to get out of here? I mean, we found our way to where we're going, but we don't exactly have an elevator back out, and they've blocked all the stairs.
I figure we just keep going. We find how to open this place, and we keep going forward.
It would stand to reason that Thailander had his own way to traverse this tube on his way down, and perhaps we could use his method.
Well, we'll just have to beat it out of him, I guess.
Does the floating not go the other direction?
No, I wish. That would be fantastic.
Shall we settle in?
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
Okay, so part of the 8-hour rest is people sleep for 6 hours, and the other 2 is light activities. More hostile areas that forms a watch. So can I get your watch order? If you choose to even have a watch. If you don't take a watch, your rest can be 6 hours instead of 8 hours, but you run the risk of being, you don't have a watch.
I'm in not probably the worst shape, but not great shape, so I would probably go later in the watch order.
I'll start it. I don't mind starting it.
Cool.
Okay, Snash will go first. Who's
Sweet.
second?
I'll go second, and then during my watch, I'll look at the contraption, the mechanism overhead, and see if I can figure out the layout
Okay.
of the room and which door leads out.
Okay, sounds good. So
Do we have any light down there at all? Is it just Stanley's? Does Stanley have his
it's just Stanley's
lantern?
whatever you have as light sources, or what you have.
I have a lantern.
There's no light down here.
I have no good vision down here is the reason I'm asking.
Yeah, I
You
think I
all
was holding a
can-
torch.
Yeah, you
When
all
I-
can have the lantern. I think we have torches, though. I do think we all grabbed torches on
Yeah.
our way down. So we should have my lantern, torches for the
So,
for the evening.
Varel's third watch.
Yes, that works.
All right. Stanley, are you even going to take a watch?
Yeah, if we need it.
Okay,
would.
last watch for you then. Okay. All right. So here's how this is going to work. You're in an unknown hostile environment. Everyone settles in. There's no fire. So people just find comfortable spots, I guess, amongst the sort of rock circle in the room. Nash, you're the first watch, so I'd like you to roll a 1d12 in the Roll20 app, please.
Oh, okay. 1d12. Hold on a second.
And everyone who has a watch will be taking a turn doing this. Okay, so 2 hours goes by without a vent. It's quiet, it's lonely, but it's also kind of boring. And eventually, Hope wakes up and taps you on the shoulder, and you don't move, you just start to snooze off. Now, Hope, I'd like you to roll your 1d12, please.
Okay.
Okay. So during your watch, you quietly want to inspect the mechanism. So I'd like you to also roll Actually, let's do vehicle maintenance. That's a wisdom check, right? Oh no, intelligence, engineering. Yeah.
Okay,
Vehicle. Yeah.
All right. Would you like me to roll it in D20 or?
No, you can roll that however you want. Just the
Okay.
1d12s I want. Roll 20.
Cool. It looks like a 12.
Okay. You add your modifier to it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so you take a sort of closer look, get up on some rocks and have a look, and you see that the mechanisms, in fact, there's machinery, as Varel has sort of pointed out earlier, running to the other side of the room and then into the rock face. You suspect, given that you've triggered the trap and that you're familiar with these kind of systems and vehicles, that there's a switch, like a safety switch. So the safety switch probably set to unsafe, and then when you go to open the door, the trap springs, and then so you need to turn the safety off and then open the door. So you have a look around towards the back wall and sort of examine for a similar loose rock face, and sure enough, you open it up and you see another similar handled stick with a skull in it. And so you see that there. You haven't done anything with it, but you find a second lever.
All right. I won't pull it.
Okay.
I'll just leave it there.
Mm-hmm. All right. So if that's all, then the watch passes to Varel. Varel gets up and motions for you to sleep. And now I'd like him to roll the watch roll, please. Okay. And your 2 hours passes without event. And then finally, Stanley doesn't wake up. He's sleeping with his chest clutched in pain. You're gonna have to wake him up for his watch.
I won't jostle him. Stanley,
What?
it's your turn to
Oh,
watch.
right. Okay. I'm up. I'm
All
getting
right.
up.
You get up. Your chest hurts even more than before now with the stiffness of being asleep as you feel your body fully repair. But you get up, and Varel, you can take your sleep as you wish again. Stanley, roll your dice, please.
Can we use the roll I rolled already? Do you want me to roll again?
No, you got to roll 20, please, for the dramas.
Oh, 20, not a 12.
12, D12.
Oh, okay. Boy, that went the opposite direction of the original roll. This is why I wanted to use the original roll.
Where is it? I didn't even see it.
I'm rolling in D20. You said to roll there.
Oh, you don't have your dice animations on. That's fine.
I rolled a 12 initially, then you said roll, and I rolled a
One, nothing. So you're up for 2 hours, drifting in and out of sleep. Nothing happens. All right, and now the 8 hours elapsed, and people start to wake up from their rest. Refresh, so make sure to recover half your hit dice if you need to recover hit dice, up to half. And your spell slots are refreshed, your daily powers are refreshed, everything like that. Hit points are recovered.
Wow, I jumped to full. That's awesome.
Oh. So there's no change in the atmosphere. Everything about the room is identical. Still the same feeling of cool, damp, thick, musty air.
I
hear
feel
blood dripping.
fantastic.
Yeah, and you feel good. You feel well rested. It's good sleep.
Well, I slept like shit. Congratulations.
Perhaps a practice on the rocks from time to time, yes? One night in a bed, one night on the rocks, and it'll even itself out.
That's a decent idea. We need to decide what's next. Are we going to fight through here and figure out what's going on and try to find a way out? I mean, honestly, who has any idea if we just go one direction or another that we're just not going to, find ourselves digging deeper into a place we can't get out of?
Well, we kind of only have one direction to go. I don't think climbing out is going to be an option this deep. So, it's forward or nothing.
Did anybody see anything this morning?
I found another switch. So while I was up, I studied the mechanism to the best of my ability, and it seems like there's a safety switch that we have to hit before we can progress. And so I found this lever, but it has another skull on it, so I didn't pull it because I figured if I was gonna pull this, I'd want you all out of the room.
At least I could have gone in the middle of sleeping peacefully. I suppose it's best you didn't pull it. Should we wait in the hallway? Are we going to just take our chances in here? My concern is if we leave and something else happens, you're trapped in this room potentially all by yourself.
Yeah, it's true, but better one person than all of us.
Does the skull lever, now that I actually eye it rather than, preparing for battle, does it match the skull in the long tube underneath Dust Hill? A similar make?
Long tube underneath Dust Hill.
I had to walk up and press 2 skull eyes, and didn't I have to say some magic words?
Yeah, it doesn't match.
Okay.
It looks like a small ornate thing, not crafted of bone, but of metals.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very different.
I would think the center of the room would be safest, as the mechanism is already triggered and it is out of rocks.
I don't like anything about this, but I say whatever we do it together. That said, I'm gonna go find whatever place looks like it'll supply the most cover as possible in the room.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Basically, the idea is get near big boulders and huddle down. That way, if something falls, it's just as likely to hit the rocks.
The boulders are in the room. The only other place is there's a cavern that runs about a few minutes out to the shaft. Apart from that, there's no cover unless you want to sit in the shaft room.
No. I'll just go be by the middle.
Okay. All right, Nash. You getting safe? What are you doing?
Yeah, I feel like Stanley's got the right idea. I mean, we should stand together though. So
Okay.
I'll follow him and go wherever he goes.
Varel, where would you like to? What are you
Would
doing?
you two like to lay beneath me, and I will, over the top of you, assume a push-up position to catch the rock should they fall?
Yeah, but Stanley gets the penis end.
Sure.
Deal.
But you could also both be, 1 peck each. There's no need for...
I have another idea. What if we all went and stood together at the entrance to the hallway, and then it's just a little jump to the side if we need to get out of here?
Very well.
I hate to admit
All right.
it's a good point. It's a good idea.
So you guys all, after all of that conversation, exit the room and hang out in the hallway. I hope you're not
So
alone.
Hope's on the other side of the room from us, though, right? With where the
She's the only
lever
one
is?
in the room where the rocks piles are and the levers. You guys have moved out, the 3 of you, to the hallway. And
So
Varel's
she-
offer's still on the table of
Okay.
to protect you with his body.
Okay.
So Hope, you're now in the room alone.
All right, I'm gonna look at the lever. I'm gonna inspect it one more time with a 17.
Which lever was it?
the new skull lever that I discovered.
You double check it. You have a look, and you're fairly certain that's a safety switch. You were very confident that if you switch this, it'll trigger a mechanism that will prevent the rocks from falling, even when the other lever is switched on or off.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I grab the lever, I look back at you three, and I pull it with
All
a
right.
smile on my face.
So you pull it down, and then you see overhead actually these metal bars sort of slide out into a position, forming a bit of a grate as to where the rocks would be falling, and that would prevent the mechanism from opening. Fortunately, the rocks are on the ground and not above, but you do see that that's the case. Also, you hear that the other lever, the one across the hall, just automatically moves back down into the closed position as you switch yours up.
Cool. I'll go to the rock lever then and switch that back.
Okay, and you go to push it in, and this time, the first time you did it, you felt a lot of resistance. Remember, you had to force it through. This time, it glides seamlessly up, blink, and you hear the sound of rock scraping against rock, and a door sort of just slides open, and opens up into a very small, maybe like 6 foot tall passageway. Nothing but blackness inside. Even with your dark vision, it's very dark. Small, 5 feet wide, enough for one person, single file to move down.
Well done, Hope.
We found it!
We believed in you.
We never once thought you might be crushed.
Yeah, victory pump. Well, shall we?
You're braver than us.
All right, what's the march order?
I'll take a torch and take the lead.
Okay.
I'll go
I
behind
know
him.
I'm moving slow, so I'll take up the rear. I'll be in the back.
Yeah, you're the rear.
I'll go behind Varel.
Cool.
Okay. Nash and Hope. All right, perfect. So you guys enter into this dark, much narrower passageway. Varel, you actually have to like hunch down to prevent it from hitting you, so it gets a bit uncomfortable after a few minutes. But you move down the hallway until it reaches an end for 5 minutes, so maybe about 500 feet of distance. The place is narrow, the air is dank, smells, and you approach a wooden door. As you sort of look down the hallway, you see right at the end in the wall, it's a door. Got a little black, where the handle is, a little piece of iron bolted into the door, and then a ring to pull or push it, perhaps, and metal hinges on the side. Otherwise, the door is wooden.
I will hold the torch sideways as I sort of press myself against the wall to let everybody see the door in front of me. And I would like to survival the door to see the age of the wood. 5.
Okay. You inspect the wood. It looks old. Definitely looks like it's could have been placed here 50 or more years ago. It's brown and blackened. You would be willing to bet that it's not very sturdy, given its age. Apart from that, it's unremarkable.
Cool.
Whatever
I will
we
keep
do,
that
we
information to
should
myself.
check for traps, please. I don't think we need any more of those.
But let us do it quietly. This could be the den of the demon.
I
So
roll
what's everyone
a
doing?
16 investigate to see if I can spot any trap mechanisms.
Okay, so Hope takes the initiative to go up and start examining walls, looking around for traps, for strings, for pressure plates, the telltale signs of things that might trigger a trap, magical glyphs. And you examine around the door and up to the door and find nothing, find no signs of any trap or tampering with the cave.
Should we extinguish my torch and see if there is light through the door?
The door might not even be open. And then we'd be in the dark.
But you all have demon eyes and eyes of the wild folk, yes?
But when there's a little bit of light, there's nothing down here.
Should I walk far away then, so there's only a little light? And I kind of try to scoot past the group, moving towards the back.
I'll nudge the door open.
Oh,
Okay. All right. So as you scoot back, Hope just says, "I'm trying the door." You move to the door, Hope, and you pull. It's a pull door with the type of iron ring it has on it. You give it a gentle pull. Let's roll a stealth check, please.
$11.
Okay, you give it a gentle pull. It makes a little more noise than you would have liked. It's like the door wobbles and makes this little like bassy sort of sound. Everyone's trying to be so quiet, so it's very audible. You're sensitive to it. You're like, ah. As you sort of open the door slightly, there's nothing but darkness from the inside. You peek in, and with your dark vision, you look around. You see there's actually brick face on the walls in here. You see like a decades-old table and chairs. You see a bed in the corner. You see a wash pan. You see the makings and furnishings of what might be a little hideout for someone, but you don't detect any movement or life. That's all you can sort of see from the doorway.
Okay.
What do you see up there?
Well, that
I
was
can imagine that was
stealthy,
shouted down the hall.
It
Maybe
echoes through the hallway.
Oh,
what do you
shit.
see? What do you see? What do
Sorry,
you see?
sorry,
What do
shit.
you
I
see?
forgot. Oh, shit.
It looks like a little room.
a den of evil.
Maybe?
Well, we might as well go in, seeing as the human megaphone just wanted to know what was going on.
Shall I proceed? Lead the way with the torch.
That's up to you, Varel.
I am prepared.
All right.
I enter with the torch aloft.
So you enter in with the torch aloft, and the party follows in behind you. This gives the appearance, like I said, it has this sort of cement, large brick walling in here. This is man-made. Someone constructed themselves, but looks to be a hideout here. There's a table and chairs. There's a bookshelf over to the side with these dusty, rotted tomes, it looks like. Also, you notice that there are like these chalk pictograms on the walls of these giant winged beings breathing fire on people and the people dying. There's old melted candles and rotted baskets with who knows what was in them, but they just looks like this disgusting melted fleshy substance. In the corner there's some mushrooms growing. In the back there is a bed with a nightstand next to it, and in the bed, you see a figure, and as you peer over, it's unmistakable that this centuries old skeleton lying in the bed. It appears to have it appears to just be like preserved somewhat in this room, because there's not a lot of air. The air is very tight, not tight, but like it's difficult to breathe in here, but air is flowing in from the hallway now, so everything has this feeling of preservation in here. Yeah,
No
Might
other
go
exits.
Over,
you do not see any exits.
might go over and check the books and just see if there's anything of note and the condition they're in. Are they readable or have they decayed?
You go to pick up a book. Are you touching any of the books? I know you're kind of OCD about touching stuff.
Yeah, curiosity's getting the better of me.
Okay, so you reach out and sort of, put your finger on a spine and go to pull it out. And as you pull it out, the book like just disintegrates in your hand. Just like flies into a bunch of detritus, and you breathe, you cough a little bit.
Feel like nobody's been in here for a very long time.
I will walk over to the bed and hold the torch over the body.
Okay, you approach the body and you see that there's no sheets or blanket. It's just like box spring. You see like the springs of the bed, and you see the corpse sort of just lying. It's a skeleton, rotted. This one much older than the skeletons that you saw in the rock room. It's just lying there.
Awaken, dead.
It makes this face at you.
Wait,
I
it
think
already.
that might be dead, Varel.
Hold
Not
on.
the
Let me
undead.
let me check for magic. I want to do an Arcana check before we
Sure.
touch this thing. Hold on a second. Okay, I forgot what my modifier is on that. It is going to be 20, not natural.
Okay, so you sort of feel around to see if, apart from you and Hope and Varel and Stanley, if you detect, any sort of sense of magical source or anomaly in the room, and you do feel something.
I do feel something?
You do.
Okay.
And it feels like it's coming from Varel's direction.
All right, I say, careful. There's something in here. I don't know what it is. It's coming out of that skeleton. We may have another zombie on our hands. It may be worse than that. I don't know. There's magic here, but I can't describe it. That's all I can say. Just be careful, Varel.
I will move towards the foot of the bed and hold the torch aloft so that, kind of motioning for Nash to enter the area.
Okay. Nash, you're welcome into the area.
All right, I'll come over
I'm
there.
checking the other books. I'm just letting them disintegrate
So,
if they disintegrate.
Nash walks over to the bed, and as Stanley continues pulling books from the bookshelf, and they continue to disintegrate and fill the air with dust. You're now next to the bed, Nash.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what I can do here. Other than...
You can investigate. You can examine.
Let's do an investigation.
Okay, so
don't
you're
do
gonna.
that very often.
What exactly are you trying to accomplish?
I'm trying to just see if I can find anything about him that's... I mean, I've already done the Arcana check, but I'd like to just see if there's anything on him or near him or anything that maybe I recognize as implements of magic or signs that something has happened here that would imply that we're about to, awaken Lord Zombie.
Okay.
Shit. Did not do well. 4 total.
Okay. So you put your hands on the skeleton and feel nothing. You are trying to detect magic. You felt something, but you can't find it. But through your search, the bed comes loose a little bit, and you notice something fall behind the bed.
Oh.
You're not sure what. Just out of the corner of your eye, something moved and scraped against the wall. Fell behind the bed.
I go, Varel, something moved. Do you see that?
Did I?
I don't know.
You heard it. It's a
I
very
will.
faint noise, a scratching of something like on the wall.
I will motion to pass Nash the torch. Jeez.
Snatch the torch. This is a family show, dude. Just kidding.
I will pass him the thing I'm holding, and I will begin to descend to put my face on level with the floor to see under the bed.
Okay. Sorry, you're on all fours looking under the bed?
Yeah.
You asking Nash to hold the flame so you can see under there?
Well, I figured if the bed is sort of there and Nash holds the torch for me, the light will bounce off the back wall under the bed, and I'll be able to see the back wall.
Okay, perfect. So you get roll an investigation check, please.
Ooh, natty 20.
You get down on all fours and take a look. No one's escaping you this time. Nothing is escaping your view. And you look down there, and you get a little sniff. It smells gross. But you make out the outline, the silhouette of what looks like another metal ring, like what's on the door, in the floor. Okay. Suggesting maybe there's a door beneath this bed. And towards the back of the wall, you see the shape of a book, sort of flipped open, and it might have fallen behind the bed and flipped open, and you see a book back there.
Yeah, just kind of push myself back up, look back to the room. There's a book and a trap door under the bed.
I can get the book with my tiny arms.
Good. They will have some use then.
Yeah, finally.
Snag the book, Nash. Let's see it.
All right, I want to get the book.
All right, yeah, we're not going to roll for that. You reach behind the bed and fish out the book.
Okay.
And this book, much to Stanley's irritation, doesn't disintegrate, meaning you get to have a book and he doesn't. And the book, sort of flaps open. A few pages sort of fly out and float down. And this looks like it's written in, this isn't a printed book, but the book in there's it's been filled in ink and handwriting. The spine is kind of ripped. It's a very old book.
Okay.
You flip through its pages a little bit and notice it's some kind of a diary.
Are you able to read, Nash?
Yes.
The language appears to be mostly written in Common.
I can speak Common. Who do you think I am? I'm not like an idiot, I say.
I didn't ask if you could speak Common. I asked if you could read it.
I can read it, yes. I had a lot of long nights in the solar mines where I had nothing but the ability to read. People died to bring us those books. Hell yeah, I can read, you little bastard.
All right.
Is this
Jeez.
from the book? Are you reading Nash?
No.
Oh,
This is me being very respectful of Stanley.
Well, why don't you read it instead of telling us how great you are?
Fine. All right, Bo. What do I read?
All right, well, you flip through the book looking at it, and seems like the ravings of a mad person for the most part. And then you sort of flip through the last entry to see what happened last. And there's an entry in there that you can read aloud for the party if you like.
Sure.
Okay. Day 245. It worked. By the sands, Miriosa, it worked. I followed the voice, his voice, to the rock at the bottom of this black pit. Behind the door, I found it. A voice. The voice. I finally found it, and he told me what I needed to do to prepare. So this will mark the end of my futile attempts to write in this pathetic book in the hopes that my words will reach you. As if you will ever read this pathetic, worthless pile of shit when you are nothing but dust and ash in the pile of human pig shit. But the world, Miriosa, the world, including me, will be with you soon. I must hasten to the surface with my gifts and collect the means of our retribution. The principal took all of you from this world, threw you in this black pit to die, and left me to rot in this misery. But now, oh yes, now I have the means to enact not only my vengeance, but your vengeance, Daisy's vengeance, Tobal's vengeance, and Sweet Lily's vengeance. But to do so, there is one I must seduce. Please don't judge me harshly, Miriosa. There is a woman in Slave Town who is the key to my victory, and I must win her over to my side. I tell you this here, in the hopes that you will understand that what little of my heart left is fully yours, and only one thing matters to me, which is the annihilation of this corrupt and dead world for inflicting its pain and wretched lies any further on anyone else. The principal and his Gentile savages will rue the day they crossed paths with me when I open the gates of hell onto this shithole and shove the maggots of their labors into their eyes and out the back of their head. And the rest of it trails off into sort of mad gibberish. You flip over
That's
the
a
next
good
page.
book.
It's about the nails in the eyes.
I was a fan of his earlier work, but I feel it's lost something of its edge when the later parts.
Yes, I wasn't much for the Gates of Hell part, but the rest of it was real gripping.
Mm-hmm.
I looked down at the body and said, "You guys, I suppose this is him. This must be him."
Before you finished reading, you flipped over to the next page. You notice something peculiar. The writing in the book is illegible, but it's definitely words. And it's not in a language you understand. You understand it to be some kind of magic writing, Scott Nash. But you can't read it.
Okay.
And you expect that there's some kind of the makings of some kind of spell written in here, but you can't access it with your mind. It's like the words are protecting itself against your knowledge.
Okay.
There's definitely some sort of magical spell written on this page.
I look up and
the
say, "Hope,
Instructions for it.
Hope, can Can you make this out? Does this have any relevance to you? Does this look like anything to you or your people? And I show it to
I'll
her.
see if I can. And I speak Infernal and Draconic.
You look at the language here, and it's no language you recognize. The words float around in the page, as if magically protecting itself from being read.
I'll hand it to Stanley.
It's fighting your eyes. You know how you see like black motes in your eyes?
Yeah.
It's like the letters are doing that to your eyes when you look at them. It's very uncomfortable to look at them.
Okay, yeah. I'll hand it to Stanley then.
I'll take a look at the book, see if there's just anything else I see or if it's the same.
It produces the same result to you as well.
Okay.
It's very unnerving.
It's a form of magical encryption. Have you heard of it?
No.
It's an old term. It's where the meaning of something was jumbled and confused so that nobody could read it but those who sent it and received it. And that's what's happening here, but I think the source of it is magic, but it's magic I don't know. It's magic I don't have access to.
We'll hold on to it in case we find a way to gain understanding of it. I'll go ahead and put it in my backpack.
Perhaps you all have magical eyes, and one without magic eyes could read such a book.
Well, Varel, you can certainly try. I take it back out, hold it open to the page for him.
I will hold it Gaston style sideways.
Killing me, dude. Roll an Arcana check, please.
Sweet. Oh, natty 20.
Ah.
Oh, nice.
But that doesn't mean I have powers I don't have. So.
Right.
Yeah, no. So you look at it, you read it, and a light bulb comes on in your mind, and you say, "These are dancing instructions for a dance." The way the letters sort of move along the page and make your eyes ripple.
All right, and
Clearly, this is for a specialized kind of magic mating ritual.
Okay. So I'll follow it. So I'll walk into the
Dance.
center of the room and start, following the instructions.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Varel, with the book Gaston style, opens and starts dancing in the middle of the room, kicking
Yes,
up
and-
dust and hitting the ground. There's a lot that's echoing.
I'll start clapping.
Left, right, and then top and up and back. Yes.
It's
Did it work?
the Konami code.
You know, Varel, I think it was a good effort. It was certainly a fine dance. We will see what it did. For now, why don't we go ahead and hold on to the book in case anything else happens?
I believe it worked. I'll pass it back.
Put it in the backpack.
All right. You now have Tylander's diary. You're certain this is Tylander's. It has his name written in it.
No.
I don't know if I was clear.
No, you were
Is it
not
the
clear about
cursive?
that.
I did not put.
My
Okay.
Diary by Tylander Sullivan. It
doesn't say that,
The
but
little
you-
rock that we had to break.
You find his name in there, so it's fine.
It says live journal.
No girls allowed. Stay out, Mom.
Yeah, stinkiosa. Gross.
I was hoping maybe the voice I did sounded familiar, but it's been a while since.
It did. I totally thought it was Tylander, but it's just
I meant to say it. It was not a
when you
secret.
say it's his diary, I immediately just think that's written on the front page.
I like to imagine there was a nice kind of Red October moment as we zoomed in on Nash's mouth and it became his voice.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
But did I when I said this might be the author is here in the bed, is that still true? Is this Tylander in the bed? I guess we don't know.
He would not be so old, but it does disturb me that these problems with the principal have run so long. And Slave Town was newer, yes. We learned that it was once pristine. So this event happened after the principal takeover of Pristine. The drawings, perhaps they hold the clue. And I will make my way to the wall with the murals of dragons.
Does the
Demons.
skeleton appear to be adult-sized or younger?
Adult-sized, yes. The pictograms sketched on the wall are of demons coming down to attack what looks appear to be humans. They're very crudely drawn,
Like, childlike?
like someone with very poor artistic skill.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Wait, the bed. Yes. The Mari. The girl.
Mari.
Yes. Tylander was hurt. Is that the woman there in the bed?
That was what I was thinking. Perhaps this is the Mariosa he wrote about.
Inspector Nethers, we must know.
Nash, you heard him.
What? Wait, what? Why am I an expert?
I'll take the covers off.
Thank you. Just because I don't have a wiener doesn't mean I'm an expert on everyone's crotch, Stanley.
Well, you certainly talk about it enough.
I'm not suddenly crotch comptroller in this group. You can check your own crotches. And I'd look
It was
down.
merely as the only human, perhaps you would identify human genitalia the best.
Well, there was a time in my
Exactly.
life that was true, but not now.
Which does make me wonder, but a question for another time, Stanley.
Yes.
Oh, now? Well, do elven wieners look different?
I want to know too.
Well, I'm only half elf, and so I guess you could say I don't know. And I
Fascinating.
don't have another person here to compare to, so we will just go ahead and go about our day.
Show
That's
us your
true.
wiener.
Remind me, when I kill the elfin town, what's his face? Magister. I wish to kill him. Add him to the list. Yes, next to Stump. I will inspect his nethers.
Very well. I'll make a note that when we kill Ephenelia, you will check him out.
Good.
I'll be checking the nether regions of the skeleton, the mummy, I guess.
I mean, I think if I recall correctly, men and women have different shaped pelvic bones. Is that right? There's some
Yes.
differences. Roll a medicine check.
We'll hear about it on Twitter one way or another.
All the anatomists.
They do have different hip bones. One bears
people in life
children, the other
sciences
don't.
are-
Yeah, no, we could look for breaks to see if there were babies or something.
That's true. 15.
Okay. You inspect it, and you sort of, I mean, you don't have a lot of experience in dealing with this kind of thing, but you have a strong sense that that would be a male's corpse.
It seems to be male.
Was there another, perhaps the, Daisy or Tobble?
I'm not sure.
What I can do as well,
Wait a minute.
the diary is available.
Have we been fighting a ghost? Is this Thailander? Does he haunt the city? We killed him. I felt his skull break with my own fists.
He made a pact with the demon. There's a chance this is him.
How old is he?
Well, we know the journal started 245 days ago from the last time it was written in.
I did get attacked by the reanimated hand. He certainly has creepy powers. He seems difficult to kill. It's entirely possible that maybe this body has something to do with him. Which means I think we should smash it.
I'm all for it.
I have no qualms with that. Let's destroy it. I don't need it getting up and following us or something dumb
I'm
like
gonna
that.
back away to the entrance of the room if they're gonna smash this body, just in case there's a magic symbol that goes off. I don't want to
Okay.
be in the blast radius this time.
That is true. Thailander is a tricky fellow, and if this is his corpse, he would probably have trapped it. There is still the door underneath the bed.
There's a door?
Yes, a handle, trapdoor beneath the bed.
There's also a bookshelf which we could look, or a nightstand that we could look into. If someone wants to open that. Stanley's suddenly cautious again.
Yes.
I'll step up to the nightstand and check for. I roll and investigate.
Okay.
21 to make sure there aren't any booby traps on this thing.
You investigate it. It doesn't look particularly sturdy, but it also has a thick coating of dust on it, indicating that it hasn't been touched in a very long time. That being said, what catches your eye is the dust around the bottom of the bed does look like shit. It's been shifted. And you incorporate that information into your nightstand check, is in that This bed looks like it's been moved several times. And then you notice a few tracks on the ground next to the bed where you're sort of examining it. You're like, wait a second, there's some dust that's been moved around over here. Then you turn your attention back to the nightstand in order to open it, and it just breaks and falls down into a pile of wood. It's like nothing else seems to tumble out of it. There's just a pile of wood now at the...
We have our firewood. We should have camped here.
It's true, we do. Should we gather it? I guess I'm the only one with a backpack. I guess I'm carrying firewood now
Perhaps
as well.
do not carry more, Stanley. You are injured.
We could use it to smack the skeleton apart.
Yes. Yes. Hope your kin are on the wall.
Yes.
Any information?
I'll go over to the wall and do another investigate with another 21.
Okay.
If it
Take a
means
closer
anything.
look at the demons on the wall. They're really poorly drawn. They don't look like anything.
Okay.
They look like a human's idea of demons, basically.
Ah. No, they don't mean anything.
Very well.
I think we're putting off the inevitable. We got to go through the trapdoor.
Yes, but it is a trap door for a reason. It is trapped.
We can check for traps.
Very well.
Then we can throw the skeleton down it.
Yes.
Look, one way or the other, we're breaking the skeleton. That's the deal. I don't want to leave it up here. If we go down this hole, great things may be there. Horrible fights. Who knows what's going to happen? But I'm not leaving Jimmy up on the bed. He's going to come back. He'll reanimate. He'll do some weird Thailander shit, and we're all going to regret it. So we need to destroy this skeleton somehow.
Perhaps he doesn't believe he's dead, and if we show his own skull to him, he will be so shocked by his own death, he will die.
I'll start
makes
moving
sense.
the bed the way the dust has indicated the bed has been moved.
Okay. The bed's easy to move. You sort of pull it one side out and move it 90. You turn it, you angle it 90 degrees from where it was sitting up against the wall, and you see a door made of wood, similar to in fashion to the door you went through to come in here, which is open. You look back at it, except it's in the ground. About 5 feet by 5 feet in size.
Who wants to do the honors?
I investigate with an 18 for traps.
You take a look around the surface from what you can see on your side and don't see any indication of traps or rigging on the door. Unfortunately, the other side of the door is completely invisible to you, given that the door's closed.
All right. It seems safe.
Open it.
We've said
Famous
that.
last words, but let's go.
Who's opening it?
I don't open things.
I'll open it.
All right.
You all
Put
get
your-
in the hallway.
You're going to try and give it an easy pull, and it doesn't pull very easily, so you plant 2 feet down and give it a...
Oh, God.
And then it comes up, and it hits against the wall as you flip it open, and, some dust flies up from the room as wind pushes and blows things around. A little eddy of dust appears, and you see blackness down into the hole, and a ladder fastened to the side, and it runs down about 30 feet, and you see rock ground below.
What's the state of the ladder?
Ladder is made of metal. It seems fastened securely, but it seems old. You're not sure what its weight gauge is.
Well, I think if Varel goes first and it holds, then we know it should support everybody else. I'll go last in case we need a soft descent. And what are we doing with the skeleton?
Destroy it.
The last skeleton I grabbed got awful angry.
Yeah, but you grabbed him. I don't remember how that went. How did you grab him?
By the back of the neck, and he was in his little coffin. The
Right.
hill master of the past.
But was he also seemingly dead? I don't remember if he was moving around when you grabbed him.
No, he was crisscrossed and in ceremony. So that is true. You have convinced me, Nash. And I will walk over and pick up the body. And does anything happen? I pick up the body.
Nothing happens. You pick up the corpse. The head rolls back and is only hanging on by a little string of some kind of life substance.
And I will walk over to the hole, and I'll look at the group, and I'll drop it.
All right, you drop it down the hole, and it hits the ground with a thud. There's some dirt down there, so, and now the skeleton's at the bottom of the hole.
I would like to make a perception check as a listen to see if there's any, critters that screeched or anything of uniqueness that happened down there. A 7.
There's no sound, but something you do notice about the sound down there is there's a more reverberation, very subtle. It sounds like there could be a larger room ahead, below and ahead.
Oh, so not like a machine, like a whoop, 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 but just
No, like reverberation on the wall, like
Okay.
echoey, a little echoey, right?
Okay.
All right, take Nash. Pass me the torch. I will descend.
All right. I hand him the torch.
Okay, we begin descending on the stairs. Now the ladder attached to the top but not attached to the bottom kind of swings a bit as you go down, causing some concern. But you proceed down quickly and make it to the bottom without event.
Cool. I'll take the torch out of my mouth.
Now
And-
you're in a small cavernous room similar to what you were in previously. The walls are damp and black. The ground is black and jagged, but there's dirt here. Like sand, it's a little sandy. It doesn't go very deep, but there's a layer of sand.
Come on down.
All right.
All right.
I'll
Who's
go next.
next?
I'll go next.
I'll be prepared to catch.
Okay. All right. So one at a time. What order are you going in?
Me, then whoever's next. Who wants to go?
I'll
Okay.
go
Nash-
last in case I need to save anyone from falling.
Nash descends the ladder without event.
Okay.
Hope descends the ladder without event. And Stanley, you go last with great difficulty. I need you to roll a Constitution save, please.
Sure. That is a 7.
Okay. As you make your way down the ladder, the pain, you still feel pain on your right side where you suspect yourself of having a broken rib. And it's just awkward going down, and you lose your grip and start to fall, maybe about 15 feet.
Oh.
Varel said he'd catch you,
Yep.
so make your athletics save, please. Or skill check.
Athletic. 10.
Okay. And you manage to catch in both hands. You catch Stanley, and Stanley's head is right, here to yours.
Thank you.
And I will lower him down.
All right.
Careful, Stanley.
I'm fine. I'm sorry. I just slipped is all.
All right. So the air again begins to feel a lot cooler, but it's a lot breezier and easier to breathe here. And you sort of look down. There's one exit from this area, and it leads sort of into a turn. You just kind of hear wind here.
Could these be the Dwarven Deep Roads?
It's possible.
Does it seem at all familiar to when we were in Mogue Forain?
No, it's completely cavernous down here. Looks still like it's like more of the same at the bottom of the black pit. Just that potentially there's a larger room up ahead because of the wind, the breeze, the fresh air. Something.
Well, we only have one way to go.
All right, can I get your march order, please?
I'll take the front with the torch.
Varel. Is it Varel, Nash, Hope, Stanley?
Yeah.
Still? Okay.
I know I'm going slower than everybody, so I'll stay in the
Yeah, you guys carefully make your way down the hall, maybe about 100 feet or so, and you see that the room begins to open up. All right, and I've moved you over and roll 20.
Okay.
Now, can you guys see anything, or is the fog of war enabled?
Fog of
Only
War
darkness.
appears to be
just
enabled.
see darkness.
Yeah.
Okay. Fog of War is still an aspect of this I'm not completely good with yet. How about now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Varel. You should have control of your characters in this one too. Let me know if you don't. Nash,
I do.
Hope, and Stanley. And the hall begins to open up into a large space. And with that, we'll take our break.
Oh, perfect timing.
Okay.
'Cause I gotta fix the graphic. Awesome. All right, we're gonna take a break, everybody. Big stuff afoot. Hold on to your butts. We'll be right back. Give us a few minutes, and don't go too far. We'll talk to you soon. I can't find the thing. Here we go. See you in a minute.